Hello friends, Handshake Sparkles. A very warm welcome to our amazing coin collection channel, Maple. Today, we are going to explore the beautiful and historical Canadian 1-cent coins, especially the famous 1987 and 2001 Elizabeth II D.G. Regina pennies. These coins are not just ordinary low-value pennies, they are an important part of Canadian history, monarchy, and national identity. Sparkles. On these amazing Canadian coins, you can see the legendary portrait of Queen Elizabeth II along with the inscription Elizabeth II D.G. Regina, which means by the grace of God, Queen, crown. This royal inscription and elegant design make these coins very special for collectors around the world. On the reverse side of the coin, there is a beautiful maple leaf design maple leaf that represents Canada's natural beauty, unity, and national pride. That is why Canadian pennies are among the favorite coins of coin collectors and numismatists worldwide. In today's detailed journey, we will learn about white heavy check mark, the history of the 1987 and 2001 Canada 1-cent coins. White heavy check mark, Queen Elizabeth II portrait details. White heavy check mark, the significance of the maple leaf reverse design. White heavy check mark coin specifications, metal composition and mint details. White heavy check mark, rare varieties and collector value. White heavy check mark, the historical importance of the Canadian penny. White heavy check mark, and why these coins are so valuable to collectors. Sparkles. So if you love rare coins, old currency and world coin collecting, then this video is going to be very interesting for you. Fire. Let's begin our exciting journey into the world of Canadian pennies and discover the hidden history behind these iconic 1-cent coins. Sparkles. The 1987 Canada 1-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II D.G. Regina is one of the most recognizable and historically important coins in Canadian numismatic history. This small copper-colored penny was produced by the Royal Canadian Mint and circulated widely across Canada during the late 20th century. Although the coin may appear simple at first glance, it carries deep historical significance, artistic beauty, national symbolism, and collectible value that continues to attract coin collectors around the world. The inscription Elizabeth II D.G. Regina appears on the obverse side of the coin surrounding the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. The abbreviation D.G. Regina comes from the Latin phrase De Gratia Regina, which translates to by the grace of God, Queen. This traditional royal title has appeared on many Commonwealth coins for generations, and reflects Canada's constitutional monarchy and historical connection to the British Crown. The portrait of Queen Elizabeth II used on the 1987 penny was designed by Canadian artist Arnold Machen, and later updated versions appeared throughout different decades of Canadian coinage. The Queen's image symbolizes stability, continuity, and national heritage, making the coin not only a piece of currency but also an important representation of Canadian identity. The reverse side of the 1987 Canadian 1-cent coin displays the famous maple leaf twig design created by artist George Edward Kruger Gray. Two maple leaves attached to a single stem are beautifully engraved in the center of the coin along with the denomination 1 cent and the year 1987. The maple leaf has long been one of Canada's most powerful national symbols and represents unity, nature, strength, and pride. Canada is internationally known for its maple trees and maple syrup industry, so the inclusion of maple leaves on the nation's smallest denomination coin perfectly reflects Canadian culture and tradition. The elegant design became iconic among collectors because it remained largely unchanged for many decades, creating a sense of familiarity and historical continuity for Canadians who used pennies in everyday life. Even though millions of these coins were produced, the detailed engraving and balanced design continue to impress numismatists and historians alike. The 1987 Canadian penny was minted primarily from bronze-plated steel and copper alloy compositions depending on production requirements during that era. The coin has a diameter of approximately 19.05 millimeters and weighs around 2.5 grams. Its smooth edge and reddish-brown appearance gave it a classic look that many collectors still admire today. During the 1980s, pennies were an essential part of Canadian commerce and were commonly used in stores, vending machines, transportation fares, and everyday purchases. Because the penny had the smallest monetary value in circulation, millions of Canadians handled these coins daily without realizing that decades later they would become nostalgic reminders of Canada's economic and cultural history. The Royal Canadian Mint, known worldwide for producing high-quality coins, ensured that the 1987 penny maintained excellent striking quality and durability for circulation across the country. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1987 Canada 1 cent coin is its role in the broader history of Canadian currency. Pennies had been part of Canadian monetary systems since the 19th century and played a major role in everyday transactions for generations. By 1987, inflation had already begun reducing the purchasing power of 1 cent coins, yet they still remained important in commerce and pricing systems. Many Canadians born during the 20th century remember saving pennies in jars, piggy banks, and coin collections. Schools often organized penny drives for charity, and children learned basic math and financial habits using these small copper coins. Therefore, the 1987 penny is not simply an old coin. It is also a symbol of everyday Canadian life and memories from an earlier era before digital payments and electronic transactions became dominant worldwide. Coin collectors often examine the 1987 Canadian penny carefully for condition, mint luster, and rare varieties. While most circulated examples are common and inexpensive, uncirculated specimens in mint condition can hold greater collector value. Coins graded in high mint state conditions by professional grading services may command higher prices among numismatists. Certain coins with striking errors, off-center designs, double dies, or unusual minting characteristics can become significantly more valuable. Error coins are especially popular because they are unique and often produced accidentally during the minting process. Collectors enjoy searching through old coin jars and inherited collections, hopping to discover rare varieties of Canadian pennies from years like 1987. Even though millions were minted, finding perfectly preserved examples decades later becomes increasingly difficult, especially because Canada officially discontinued the penny in 2012. The end of Canadian penny production added additional historical importance to coins like the 1987 1 cent piece. In 2012, the Canadian government officially stopped producing pennies because manufacturing costs exceeded the coin's actual value. The decision marked the end of an era in Canadian monetary history. Pennies gradually disappeared from circulation as businesses began rounding cash transactions to the nearest 5 cents. After the penny was retired, many people started keeping older Canadian cents as souvenirs, collectibles, or historical keepsakes. As a result, coins from the 1980s and earlier gained nostalgic significance for collectors and ordinary citizens alike. The 1987 penny now serves as a reminder of the final decades when 1 cent coins were still part of everyday Canadian life. From a global perspective, the 1987 Canada 1 cent coin is admired because Canadian coins are known for their artistic beauty, historical themes, and high minting standards. International collectors often include Canadian pennies in world coin collections due to their attractive maple leaf design and royal portraits. Coins featuring Queen Elizabeth II are especially popular because she appeared on the coinage of many Commonwealth nations throughout her long reign. Her image evolved over time as different portraits were introduced during different decades, making coins from each period historically unique. The 1987 penny represents a specific era in Queen Elizabeth II's reign and reflects Canada's political and cultural environment during the late Cold War period of world history. The inscription, Elizabeth II D.G. Regina, also reflects centuries of royal tradition and Latin usage in coinage. Latin inscriptions have been used on coins since ancient Roman times and continued into modern monarchies because they symbolize authority, continuity, and ceremonial tradition. Many collectors enjoy studying these inscriptions because they connect modern coins to ancient numismatic history. On Canadian coins, the Latin abbreviation became an enduring element that linked Canada's modern identity with its British constitutional heritage. For history enthusiasts, this small detail transforms the 1987 penny into much more than simple currency. It becomes a miniature historical document carrying political, linguistic, and cultural significance. Today, the 1987 Canada 1 cent coin remains a beloved collectible among coin enthusiasts worldwide. Some people collect it for historical reasons, others for nostalgia, and many simply appreciate its elegant design and connection to Canadian heritage. Whether found in an old family collection, a forgotten coin jar, or a professional numismatic album, the coin continues to tell a story about Canada's economy, monarchy, traditions, and national identity. Even though its face value was only 1 cent, its historical and collectible importance has grown over time. For collectors, historians, and admirers of world coins, the 1987 Canadian penny featuring Queen Elizabeth II D.G. Regina remains a timeless symbol of Canada's rich numismatic legacy. Another interesting feature of the 1987 Canadian penny is how it has become increasingly scarce in everyday circulation. Since pennies were withdrawn from circulation after 2012, younger generations rarely encounter them in daily transactions. Many coins were melted down, lost, or stored away in collections. Over time, surviving examples in excellent condition become harder to find. This gradual disappearance increases the historical charm of the coin and encourages more people to preserve them as family keepsakes. Some collectors even create complete sets of Canadian pennies by year, including the 1987 issue as part of a larger historical timeline. For many people, collecting coins like the 1987 Canada 1 cent is not only about financial value, but also about storytelling and preserving history. Every scratch, discoloration, or worn detail may represent decades of circulation through shops, markets, pockets, and cash registers across Canada. A single penny may have passed through thousands of hands before eventually reaching a collector's album. In this way, the coin becomes a silent witness to history, carrying memories of ordinary people and everyday life. Although modern technology has reduced the use of physical cash, historic coins continue to preserve cultural identity and human experiences in a way digital currency never can. The 1987 Canadian penny therefore remains a meaningful symbol of Canada's heritage, economy, and national pride for collectors around the world. The 2001 Canada 1 cent coin featuring the inscription, Elizabeth II D.G. Regina, is one of the most memorable modern Canadian pennies ever produced by the Royal Canadian Mint. Although the coin carries a small face value of 1 cent, its historical, artistic, and collectible importance has grown significantly over time. This coin represents an important period in Canada's numismatic history during the early 21st century, a time when traditional coinage was widely used before digital payments became dominant across the world. The obverse side of the coin displays the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II along with the Latin inscription, Elizabeth II D.G. Regina, which translates to Elizabeth II by the grace of God, Queen. This phrase reflects centuries of royal tradition and emphasizes Canada's constitutional monarchy and historical ties to the British Crown. For collectors and historians, the 2001 penny serves as a symbol of national identity, monarchy, and everyday Canadian life during the beginning of a new millennium. The portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the 2001 Canadian penny was designed by renowned Canadian artist Dora de Patery Hunt. This portrait became famous for portraying the Queen in a mature and dignified style without a crown, giving the image a more modern and realistic appearance compared to earlier royal coin portraits. The Queen's graceful profile faces right, surrounded by the Latin inscription that has appeared on countless Commonwealth coins for generations. Queen Elizabeth II was one of the longest-reigning monarchs in world history, and her image appeared on Canadian coins for decades, making her portrait deeply familiar to millions of Canadians. The 2001 penny therefore represents not only currency but also continuity, tradition, and the stability of Canada's political system during a rapidly changing global era. The reverse side of the coin features one of Canada's most beloved numismatic designs, the maple leaf twig created by artist G. E. Kruger Gray. The elegant image shows two maple leaves attached to a single stem, symbolizing Canada's natural beauty, unity, and national pride. Above the design appears the denomination 1 cent, while the year 2001 is displayed below. The maple leaf has been associated with Canada for centuries and became an internationally recognized national emblem long before appearing on the Canadian flag. By placing maple leaves on the penny, Canada highlighted its connection to nature, forests, and cultural identity. Collectors around the world often recognize Canadian coins immediately because of this iconic maple leaf design, which remained a defining feature of Canadian pennies for generations. The 2001 Canadian 1 cent coin was produced by the Royal Canadian Mint, one of the world's most respected minting institutions. The Mint is internationally known for its advanced technology, precision craftsmanship, and artistic excellence. During the early 2000s, the Mint continued improving coin production techniques to ensure high-quality circulation coins for Canadians. The 2001 penny was primarily struck using copper-plated zinc composition, giving the coin its distinctive reddish appearance while reducing production costs compared to older solid bronze coins. The coin has a diameter of approximately 19.05 millimeters and weighs around 2.25 grams. Its smooth edge and lightweight structure made it practical for everyday use in shops, vending machines, transportation systems, and small cash transactions throughout Canada. The year 2001 itself carries enormous historical importance worldwide, making the 2001 Canadian penny even more interesting to collectors and historians. It was the first full year of the 21st century and marked the beginning of a new millennium. Around the world, people reflected on technological progress, globalization, and social change as humanity entered a new era. In Canada, daily life was increasingly influenced by computers, mobile phones, and the internet. Yet traditional cash transactions remained extremely common. Pennies were still heavily used in everyday commerce, and many Canadians carried handfuls of 1-cent coins in pockets, purses, and jars at home. Because of this, the 2001 penny became part of ordinary daily experiences for millions of people during a historically significant moment in world history. For coin collectors, the 2001 Canada 1-cent coin offers many fascinating collecting opportunities. Although millions of examples were minted for circulation, coins preserved in uncirculated condition are especially desirable. Collectors carefully examine these pennies for bright original color, sharp strike details, and minimal wear. Copper-plated coins naturally darken over time due to oxidation, so fully red examples with original mint luster are considered more valuable. Professional grading companies classify coins into categories such as red RD, red-brown RB, and brown BN, depending on how much original red color remains. A perfectly preserved 2001 penny in high mint state condition can command significantly higher prices than ordinary circulated examples. Error coins from 2001 are also highly sought after in the numismatic market. During the minting process, mistakes sometimes occurred that created unusual and collectible varieties. These errors may include double strikes, off-center designs, die cracks, clipped planchets, or misaligned dies. Because minting errors are relatively rare, collectors actively search through old penny collections hopping to discover unusual varieties. Some rare error coins can become worth many times their original face value depending on rarity and condition. The excitement of discovering hidden errors makes collecting Canadian pennies both educational and entertaining for numismatists worldwide. Another reason the 2001 Canadian penny is historically important is because it belongs to the final generation of Canadian 1-cent coins before the denomination was discontinued. In 2012, the Canadian government officially stopped producing pennies because the cost of manufacturing exceeded the coin's actual monetary value. Inflation had greatly reduced the purchasing power of 1 cent, making the coin less practical for modern commerce. Businesses gradually adopted cash rounding systems, and pennies slowly disappeared from circulation. As a result, coins like the 2001 penny became nostalgic reminders of an earlier time when physical cash dominated daily transactions. Many Canadians began saving pennies as keepsakes, souvenirs, or collectible items after production ended. The cultural significance of the Canadian penny extends far beyond economics. For generations, pennies played an important role in childhood memories, education, and family traditions. Children learned counting and basic mathematics using pennies, while families often stored spare change in jars or piggy banks. Schools and charities organized penny drives to raise funds for community projects and social causes. Many people believed that finding a penny on the ground brought good luck, turning the humble 1-cent coin into a symbol of fortune and optimism. The 2001 penny therefore carries emotional and sentimental value in addition to its historical importance. Internationally, Canadian coins enjoy strong popularity among world coin collectors because of their beautiful designs and high minting standards. The 2001 penny is often included in global coin albums featuring coins of Queen Elizabeth II or famous national symbols. Since Queen Elizabeth II appeared on the coinage of many Commonwealth nations, collectors frequently compare Canadian pennies with coins from Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, and other countries. However, Canada's maple leaf design gives its 1-cent coins a unique and instantly recognizable identity. This combination of royal tradition and national symbolism makes the 2001 Canadian penny especially attractive to collectors worldwide. From an artistic perspective, the 2001 1-cent coin demonstrates how even small circulation coins can serve as miniature works of art. The balanced composition of the Queen's portrait, elegant lettering, and detailed maple leaves reflects the skill of the artists and engravers involved in its creation. Coin design requires extraordinary precision because artists must create detailed images within very limited space. Every curve, line, and inscription must remain visible even after years of circulation and wear. The success of the Canadian penny design is evident in its lasting popularity among collectors and ordinary citizens alike. The Latin inscription D.G. Regina connects the 2001 penny to centuries of historical coinage traditions dating back to ancient times. Latin was historically used on coins because it symbolized authority, education, and continuity. Even in modern constitutional monarchies, Latin inscriptions preserve ceremonial traditions that link present-day nations to their historical roots. For many collectors, studying these inscriptions adds another layer of fascination to coin collecting, because coins become tiny historical documents reflecting language, politics, culture, and royal heritage. Today, the 2001 Canada 1 cent coin remains a treasured collectible and historical artifact. Although its face value was only 1 cent, its importance has grown considerably since the penny's discontinuation. Collectors appreciate the coin for its artistic beauty, historical context, and connection to Canadian national identity. Whether found in an old coin jar, inherited collection, or professional numismatic album, the 2001 penny tells a story about Canada at the beginning of the 21st century. It represents an era when cash transactions still dominated society. Queen Elizabeth II remained a central figure of Commonwealth history, and the maple leaf continued serving as one of the strongest symbols of Canadian pride and heritage.